Alright, I wanted to make a quick video. There's been a lot going on. I want to update everyone on my thoughts. So, I'm going to talk about Maker, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar. Might be a long video. Okay, first of all, Maker. I saw, interest on DAI. If you create DAI and you deposit it, you could earn interest. It was up to 8% interest. I was like, what is that? So I did a little research, and basically, with the collateral falling, people have trouble keeping their loans from getting liquidated. So somebody, like literally one person, was borrowing a lot of DAI off of their rep, their Augur token, in order to use that DAI to pay down their debt on our Maker. And I'm looking at this, and we're dealing with millions of dollars here. It just looks a little scary to me. Now, the market things have gone up last couple days. And DAI has held its peg. And the reason I said I like Maker, because it's held its peg in this fall. But is the fall over? And if it's not, maybe Maker isn't totally proven yet. Or, do you know what I'm saying? I just got a little scared with these dramatic falls. So then the other thing, because I'm part of it, Maker said they just had a vote to lower the interest rate that they charge for taking out a loan, because they want more people to create DAI to help fund, because this interest rate is crazy, and DAI has been trending higher than $1. And if they can't control it, they have to do a global settlement. Global settlement, I believe, means all the ether gets released out of Maker, and this to me just sounds like the downward spiral continues. Got a little scary as I was thinking about it. So then, and the other thing is, well, how are they getting people? So they charge 2.5% interest to borrow DAI. Well, and they want to lower it back to 0.5%. And I'm like, for someone like me to borrow DAI, my concern is not the interest rate, 2.5%, whatever. The issue is how stable is the collateral of ether. I mean, if ether price can fall by 30% in a week, that's a bigger concern than the interest rate. So that got me thinking, how much control do they have over the supply of DAI? And what if they sort of lose control, and then you have to do global settlement, and this whole thing could get ugly. I got a little scared and got rid of my debt collateral position. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this, because I had it so that ether would have to fall by 50% or more before I would get liquidated. And that started feeling like not a lot, and I don't want to deal with anything cuckoo. So, I have a teeny bit of Maker still. I used a little bit of it to close out my loan, but I don't know. I don't think that, the idea that this DAI really works is not going to be proven until the bear market is really over and DAI totally survived the whole thing. So, we'll see. This is still risky. That's why I say only a little bit of Maker at this point. So what else? And one other thing with this Maker, I gotta say, I mean, boy, there's like 100 steps. You put in the ether, and then you wrap it, and then you move it, and every time you do a step, you got to do these confirmations, and then I had to speed up the transaction every time, and it's very cumbersome to do. I mean, it's a slow process, and whatever. Okay, another thing, one thing I've been thinking as well, once Fidelity and Bakkt get in, are launched, this fuels the rally for Bitcoin. But speaking to a couple smart people who I listen to, they're kind of saying, you know what, it's, in the saying that I've heard, Wall Street, nobody wants to be first, they all want to be second. They all want to see, the big institutional money wants to see that the bear market is over, and then they get in. So in other words, Bakkt and Fidelity fuel the next rally, and that's a lot of fuel, but they're not going to start it, which means this downfall has to end sort of organically or non-institutionally. And maybe we're already there, and this one guy who has been really right, he said it would have gone down as far back. I didn't agree with him when I thought, this downfall won't last that long. He was right. He started buying. He's got a lot of money. So do these big money guys who are not institution that's what you want to see, people stepping in. In other words, I think this downturn has to end if it's not over Fidelity and Bakkt launch and the institutions don't put the money in until this thing starts moving. So that's sort of, I was like, who knows how long this thing can go. I didn't think, and just full disclosure, last year, I didn't think this downturn would last more than a year. Here we are. So we will see. I still think, I'm very bullish on the story. What's going on with Bitcoin and the Lightning Network and Ethereum scaling, technology and use cases, it looks great to me. But the buying and selling cycles follow this repetitive fractal that is disconnected from the news. The news has an incentive to convince you that things move based on what they print, but I don't believe that to be true, because there's lots of great news now, and the market doesn't go up. And when there was bad news, when the thing was booming, it kept going up. So price is just another thing altogether. So who knows? But yeah, but a couple people that I talked to, and this one guy, Kling, what's his name? Travis Kling. I love listening to him. Big trader guy. I pointed him out. He had a big interview on Pomp's channel podcast. And I remember when it was at 6,000, he's like, "This does not look like a bottom to me. If this is the bottom, this is not what bottoms look like." And well, he was right. And now when he talks, he's like, "Well, I don't know where the bottom is, but it could be forming here." I don't know that he said that exactly, but something to the effect, we're definitely we're closer to the bottom. 50% off. 50% off what I thought was the bottom. And some people, for those of you getting killed, some of the smart people, what's his name? Novogratz. He's a pretty smart guy. He's done well. He thought he was smart because when it got past 60% down, 60% off the highs, he started getting in. He says the interesting math behind 80% down is that you go down 60% and then you go down another 60% to get to 80% down. I have my kids today. Hey guys, can I finish the video?
Hello. Hello. Your camera.
Hold on, Dahlia. Here, you want to say hi? Come here. Hey. Say hello.
Hello. Oh. I'm 2. I'm a kid.
All right.
I'm not
kids, can I finish, please?
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Now,
bye.
Bye.
Hey, let's see. Bye.
Okay, say bye.
Bye.
Okay. Guys, run in. I'll be done in a minute. All right. I haven't been able to make a video. Got the kids all week, no school. Kill me now. So how do we know the downturn is over? Looking at past patterns, when it ends with a violent move up, like 100% up in 5 days. And when you say that, it sounds like a lot, but if you think, geez, we're at 6,000 a couple weeks ago, then we're at 3,000. What if it drops to 2 and shoots to 4? It doesn't feel that big right now, and so that's the kind of thing you want to see up big. And I think Bitcoin leads the way up. Bitcoin is the leader. I think this little rally these last couple days, hey, maybe that's the bottom, but it feels like a dead cat bounce to me, because who's leading this rally that we're seeing the last couple days? Dogecoin. And for those of you who don't know, Dogecoin was created as a joke. The guy who developed is a smart guy, and he says he keeps it alive because it's a good barometer of the dumb money, right? Because you have to be dumb to buy Doge. It's not a real project. It's just a joke. So when this rally sees Dogecoin as one of the leaders, you know it's dumb money. You see Bitcoin Cash, which is as good as dead, leading. It's up like 30% today. To me, that's not a good sign. That's a sign that this is a last gasp, or one of the last gasps of air from the dumb money, right? So I don't like seeing that. I'd rather see sort of Bitcoin, the only thing up and up big, would be a good sign that we're at the bottom. I could be wrong. Who knows how this thing goes, but that's what I'm looking for. And by the way, Bitcoin Cash, I've been saying it's going to zero forever. We're getting closer. I think there's more pain to come there. Bitmain, I think, is in trouble. Their mining equipment, I don't think they're the leader anymore. They've lost a ton of money by selling their Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash. They've got all kinds of problems. I don't know if their IPO gets off. And, that's still, Bitcoin Cash is still a big coin that's in big trouble. A lot of these shit coins, I think, are going to have trouble. So we'll see. I don't like to see, if I see Bitcoin Cash rallying, it's a concern that this rally isn't for real. Or that we have more to go down. What else? Yeah, and now another thing too. A lot of people say, well, regarding the fiat world, as I've said for a while, I'm all about now. I just look at everything as the credit cycle. Either credit is expanding or it's contracting, and it's a contagion thing because there's so much leverage. Bank has 10%, has $1,000 in collateral. They can loan $10,000, or actually even more. So if a little collateral disappears, that means they have to pull in 10 times as much from their loans or what they've lent out, and that's other banks' collateral. So this thing, it feeds on itself in both directions. And the tide has turned. I thought, several months ago when I saw what was going on with Turkey and Argentina, that the tide had turned, but who knows? And then there's more evidence, and now we see it with oil. We see it with stock prices. And keep in mind, Amazon down 4% today. That's a ton of money, which that's not base layer collateral. That's not like U.S. Treasuries. But these, everywhere I'm seeing collateral decreasing, which tells me the credit cycle has turned. So, I'm not optimistic here on stock prices. Now, what was I getting at? Oh, and so a number of smart people who are crypto believers have said, well, if there's a if there's a cash crunch in the fiat world, that hurts the crypto world too. So in other words, it could be another blow to crypto if the stock market shits the bed. Now, I am not as big of a believer that the two markets are as coupled as everybody thinks. I've had hope that it would be maybe a safe haven, but I don't think anybody, most people with a lot of money do not consider Bitcoin to be a safe haven. Maybe it will be in 20 years, but it doesn't look like it is now. At the same time, I'm not sure they're as coupled as everybody thinks. But I've learned to listen to the smart people more than my own opinion, and the smart people kind of think, if you think the stock market's going down, that's going to hurt crypto even more. So I don't know. Maybe this pain is not over yet. Stellar, as I've said before, I think I love it long term. There's one issue is they don't have a ton of developer support, but they have IBM. IBM is a huge developer support, but they're not getting, Chain. Remember, they bought Chain's with NASDAQ, and who else are they with? They were with NASDAQ and another large, was it Visa, I think, and I don't know, shortly after the purchase, it seems like NASDAQ and Visa both dumped Chain. I don't know that as a fact, but it looks like that's what's happened. They're having trouble, I think, getting developers, but they have IBM. And IBM runs the computers at 97% of all banks, so I like it. But to me, it's a riskier. It's also, I don't see a huge move up before a Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I've been sort of conservative, and I was hoping for a run-up with this coin being listed on Coinbase. And it started running up, and that was a good time, a few weeks ago, a good time to trade if you had too much Stellar into Bitcoin. And but now, so anyways, that opportunity was a couple weeks ago, and now Stellar fell it fell against Bitcoin. And now I don't know what's going on with Stellar on Coinbase. Probably happens, but maybe they have some issue because they're concerned about XRP and Stellar is similar. Maybe that's why they're not listing it, because Coinbase now seems to be listing everything other than Stellar. And also the Coinbase bounce, which I pointed out months ago, is stupid. As soon as it gets listed on Coinbase, it falls. So everybody buys it in anticipation of being on Coinbase. As soon as it's on there, everybody sells it. So I don't know how much longer even that rally. So by the time Stellar gets on Coinbase, it probably doesn't produce a rally. we may have seen the last rally against Bitcoin in Stellar a few weeks ago. I don't know. I'm not that optimistic on the short run in the price on that. And Ethereum, I like where it's going with development, but Ethereum has a lot more leverage between this, Maker and compound finance and people using Ether to raise for ICOs. There's a greater chance of sort of this downward spiral selling, more people who sell and the price goes down, gets more people to sell and all that sort of crap. And I think in the next rally, Ether, that could fuel Ethereum to go up higher as well. Whereas Bitcoin doesn't have as much of this leverage and craziness. So I don't know where this bottom is, and if there's another leg down, Ethereum goes down more than Bitcoin. But if we're at a bottom, then next time we start going up, I think Ethereum goes up more. And I like both long term, so I'm hodling my ass off. But hopefully, for me, like I always say, is don't listen to what you think. Do what's right. And I've been prepared. I've said, I thought the bottom was at 6,000. It looked, what do I know? And I was wrong. But I wasn't betting on my personal prediction. My prediction is the thing you always want to be. You don't know. The bottom could have been 2 days ago, whatever the hell it was, at 3,200. 3 Bitcoin for the price of 1. If you think Bitcoin eventually is worth 10,000, when it's at $33,333, you're getting 3 for the price of 1. It's a good deal. So, what was I saying? So I don't bet based on it's just, if you're trying to get in, you're dollar cost averaging. You didn't buy at 3,200 because you thought it was the bottom. You did it because you dollar cost average, and you buy when it's down a lot, right? You have these disciplines. And so if you're getting in, you want to buy when it's down. I wouldn't buy today. Hopefully you bought a few days ago. And you wait, and we see. The main thing is that you're right. Timing is impossible. The key is that the thing that you're holding for the long term, you're right in the long term, and 5 years from now it's a lot higher. And we look back at this and laugh. Like I've said before, I remember when I bought Bitcoin at 500, and then it went to 400, and I bought more in 300, and I bought more in 200, and I bought more. And when it went below 200, I was like, this is crazy. And then I waited a long time. And, we look back, and that's funny. And that's why I say it all the time. Ha, ha, ha. Well, when it went from 200 to 500, when it went from 500 to 200 and lower, it wasn't so funny. And the funny thing is, I had the same story with Stellar and with Bitcoin, and both times I did not buy at the bottom because I was like, I can't buy anymore. So hopefully 3,200 was the bottom, and again, I didn't buy any at the bottom. We'll see. But if it goes to below 3,000, 2,500, even though I don't need any more, I would probably buy a tiny bit. All right. Let me know your thoughts. I'm not doing videos much anymore. Working on my book, Money Skills, Book 1, ages 8 to 108. Working on it. It's coming along. It's not really a book. It's really, I'm trying to design a course for teaching kids. That's what I'm spending my time on instead of these videos. But I follow this news. I like to keep you posted once in a while. Lots been happening. Have a happy holiday. Happy New Year. Much love.